So ayun, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa lahat ng mga manggagawa, sa lahat ng mga employer at altogether sa lahat ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino na nakasubaybay ngayon sa ating hashtag Webinar Wednesdays ng Department of Labor and Employment Bureau of Working Conditions. Bago ang lahat, nais ko po muna magpakilala sa inyo. Ako po si Mark Labrador, isang Labor and Employment Officer 3, at ako po ang magiging moderator at host para sa webinar na ito na nagpapatungkol sa Department Order Number 238 Series of 2023 entitled Rules on the Administration and Enforcement of Labor Standards. Ngayon po, ating sisimulan ang ating webinar ngayon sa isang panalangin.
Let's bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Lord, we stand before you in humble prayer before we start this program. We realize that without your blessings, we would not be able to succeed with the plans we have for this activity. Bestow your grace and divine wisdom to all of us present here, so we could cooperate and enjoy camaraderie and love for the greater glory of your name. Bless also those we have left behind our homes. May you grant them peace and happiness as they go about their activities. Bless people around the globe that they may enjoy peace and the goodness of your love. We ask all these through your mighty name. Amen.
Okay, so hello, magandang hapon ulit sa lahat ng ating Facebook Live participants. Pa-heart react naman dyan sa ating live ngayon. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Also, we encourage everyone, all our participants, to please share this live in your Facebook accounts and use the official hashtag Webinar Wednesdays. Okay. You may also share this link pala to your colleagues and friends and family para mas marami pa po ang mga matututo ngayong araw, mga magkakaroon ng bagong kaalaman. And if you guys have time, please do follow our Facebook page. It's Dole Bureau of Working Conditions. Ang URL po natin ay facebook.com/BWC1949. Again, ang Facebook page po natin ay Dole Bureau of Working Conditions. Ang URL is facebook.com/BWC1949. Para maging mas updated po tayo sa mga latest issuances, announcements, and other activities na nilalabas ng Bureau at ng kabuuan ng DOLE. So before we start, please be reminded po of the following house rules during the webinar. Okay, first one is, this is not required naman, pero we highly encourage everyone to ensure a stable internet connection para mas maging smooth at tuloy-tuloy ang panonood at pakikinig natin sa presenter ng webinar natin ngayon. Second, for questions and inquiries about the topic, kindly use the comment section and this will be addressed by the resource speaker after the session. And lastly, please refrain from spamming questions po para hindi po matabunan yung mga susunod pa nating questions at makita natin. Kasi as much as possible, we would like to accommodate your questions and masagot po natin lahat ng katanungan nyo. Okay, so this is the 4th episode of our Webinar Wednesdays, no? And maraming salamat sa mga sumubaybay from our very first episode. And I'm pretty sure na meron din dito mga first-timers. So for the first-time people na nandito sa ating webinar, allow me to share with you our objectives for today's webinar. First, we would like to educate the employers and employees and other stakeholders on the requirements and procedures for compliance with labor laws and social legislation as specified in the department order. Second, it is to foster a sense of community effort and collaboration among the participants in promoting and achieving compliance with labor standards in order to ensure fair and just treatment. And lastly, but not the least, we aim to provide an overview of the rules on the administration and enforcement of labor standards. Okay, so before tayo mag-move on sa ating webinar topic, meron po kaming mga ilang katanungan. Gagamit po tayo ng online tool na tinatawag na Slido. So maaari pong magbukas tayo ng panibagong tab sa ating computer at pumunta tayo sa slido.com. 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 Yan. Naka-flash po sa screen natin. At pag nasa Slido na po tayo, pwede po natin gamitin ang code na 2766191. 2766191. Para po sa mga viewers at participants natin na naka-smartphone, maaari nyo pong gamitin ang QR code para pumasok at ma-redirect sa ating Slido. Again, naka-flash po sa screen yung ating code and meron po tayong QR code. So ang first question po natin is, what is your gender? Okay. So majority ng ating participants ay kababaihan. Nasa 74% and ang male natin ay around 29%. Okay. So next question po tayo. Okay, second question is, what is the employment size of your company? Karamihan po sa atin ay nanggagaling sa large o 200 or more employees. Sumunod po ang small na merong 10 to 99 employees. And medium na may 100 to 199 employees. And lastly, yung micro natin na 1 to 9 employees only. So next question po tayo. From what sector or industry are you? Karamihan ay nasa others. Second is manufacturing. And then admin and support services, construction, and then wholesale and retail. Okay. Ang mga datos at mga impormasyon po na makakalap namin ngayon ay gagamitin upang mapaganda pa po natin yung mga susunod nating webinars. So maraming salamat po sa lahat na nag-participate sa poll na ito. Okay. So to start the discussion on the Department Order number 238, series of 2023, entitled Rules on the Administration and Enforcement of Labor Standards, our speaker is a Senior Labor and Employment Officer assigned at the Program Management and Technical Support Services ng Bureau of Working Conditions of DOLE. Please let us all welcome Mr. Roy Earl Red.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Sir Mark. Malinaw naman po ba yung audio ko? Please, can I get a thumbs up? Yes. All right. So, before I begin, please allow me to greet you ng isang maganda at maulang hapon. And maraming salamat po sa patuloy na pagsubaybay sa ating Webinar Wednesdays. And tulad nga ng nabanggit ni Sir Mark kanina, for this episode, our topic will be the administration and enforcement of labor standards. And for brevity, igagamitin ko siya, i-refer na lang muna natin siya na new inspection rules. All right. So for the flow of our discussion for today's session, first, I will be providing you a brief background on the policy development process, as well as the legal basis of our inspection rules. Second, I will be discussing with you the salient concepts and the features of the new rules. And lastly, yung ating procedure and available remedies. So, first slide, please.
So ayan, habang hinintay po natin yung presentation ni Sir Red, gusto ko lang po sanang i-promote na meron pa po tayong mga susunod na webinar for the next Wednesdays natin. So ang next na webinar Wednesdays natin ay on August 2, 2023. Episode 5 po siya, Basic Rights and Benefits of Workers in the Private Sector. So ang next po doon is on August 9. Episode 6, ang topic naman po doon ay DOLE Technical Safety Inspection. And ang magiging next po natin doon is on August 16, 2023, episode 7. Ang topic po natin doon ay new inspection rules. Next is on August 23, 2023, episode 8. It's safety and health in the workplace. At ang next po doon for the last episode for August would be August 30, episode 9 ay construction safety and health program. So make sure to follow our page po to be for you to be updated always and ma-notify kayo kung meron kaming bagong webinars and may mga bago kaming announcement for everyone.
Apologies for some technical difficulties. So we'll proceed now with the lecture on the inspection rules. Paano nga ba tayo nag-arrive sa ating new inspection rules? So it's important to emphasize that in all policy development process of the department, we make use of the tripartite mechanisms to ensure that the interests of the workers, the government, and the employers are well balanced. So nagkaroon po tayo ng deliberation, actually 4 tripartite deliberations at the tripartite level. The first one was held on November 18, 2022. It was followed by the second one on November 25, 2022, December 6, 2022, and yung last deliberation happened last February 8, 2023. And then, yung inspection rules natin was signed on April 2023, and it was published last April 14, 2023 in a newspaper of general circulation, and it became effective on April 29, 2023. So what is the implication ng effectivity ng ating rules? So if yung establishment nyo is na-inspect prior sa effectivity or before April 29, 2023, yung old inspection rules yung nag-a-apply. On the other hand, if na-inspect kayo starting from April 29 onwards, ang inspection rules na sinusundan na natin is itong DO 238 series of 2023. Second, to contextualize our succeeding discussions, mahalagang pagkasadahan din natin what are the legal basis of these rules and regulations. And the primary legal basis is found under our Labor Code of the Philippines as amended, which is Article 128, or ito yung nagpo-provide ng visitorial and enforcement powers to the Secretary of Labor and Employment or his or her authorized representatives. Also, supplementarily, andyan din yung ating Article 303 of the Labor Code na nagpo-provide naman ng penalties, and RA 11058 or yung ating OSH law para naman doon sa ating mga occupational safety and health standards. So to put it simply, so we have the general labor standards na makikita natin sa ating labor code, and we also have the occupational safety and health standards, which provides yung ating occupational safety and health standards. So these are substantive rights of the workers. So ito yung mga dapat na binibigay sa mga manggagawa upang maprotektahan at maisulong ang kanilang mga karapatan at karapatan sa isang decenteng trabaho. So now the question is, how does the government ensure the compliance? Otherwise, itong mga rights na to, ito yung mga karapatan na to will remain as a text and will not be guaranteed. And the answer to that question is through the following administration and enforcement approaches of the Department of Labor and Employment na nakapaloob sa ating Department Order 238. So first approach is yung tinatawag nating technical and advisory visit. Second, yung ating labor inspection. enter yung ating occupational safety and health investigation. So we will discuss this more in detail later on. And before we proceed with the next slide, just to give you another important contextualization then, one of the salient changes adopted doon sa ating new rules ay nagbago ang ating inspection framework. No? Previously, it was leaning towards a highly regulatory approach, but now we adopted a developmental and regulatory approach to ensure the sustainable compliance of establishments with our labor standards. In the old inspection rules, ang nangyayari kasi, our inspectors will visit you to conduct a routine or a complete investigation. And meron silang checklist to validate or assess your establishments whether you comply with general labor standards or occupational safety and health standards. And then if you have compliance gaps, you will be given the opportunity to correct or take some actions para ma-resolve yung violations. Otherwise, non-compliance will be meted with the corresponding penalty subject to the due process requirements. But now, sa ating new inspection rules, pinaghalo natin yung developmental and regulatory approach. We have developed several strategies and interventions to somehow help these establishments correct their compliance gaps, especially doon sa ating mga micro-establishments, considering their inherent lack of capacity and limited resources. And lastly, syempre, andyan yung OSH investigation, which is wala naman pong nabago as to in comparison to the old rules. As for the priority establishments naman po, the tripartite have identified these industries to be the priority establishments for our inspection. First, yung hazardous work. Second, employing children. Third, construction projects. Fourth, yung domestic shipping. 5, yung fishing vessels. 6, yung contracting and subcontracting arrangements. 7, yung mga nasa subject for SENA referral, anonymous complaint, and request for inspection. And lastly, yung other establishments that may be identified by the Secretary of Labor and Employment. So what is the rationale behind this? Kasi based sa ating historical data for inspection, itong mga industries na to ay yung medyo kailangan mag-focus ng ating inspection kasi sila yung mababa yung compliance. Or these industries naman ay maaaring subject to special laws. So for example, yung establishments employing children. So merong nag-govern na special law for that. And another one is industries na meron tayong commitment or international commitments. Katulad din sa fishing vessels and domestic shipping. So, ito, madalas itong itinatanong lahat po ba ng DOLE employees pwedeng mag-conduct ng inspection? So, the answer is no. Not all employees of DOLE is given the authority to conduct labor inspection. The authority to exercise the visitorial and enforcement powers of the Secretary of Labor may only be delegated to specified competent persons. So ito yung mga taong who possess the right knowledge on general labor standards and occupational safety and health standards and the skills to conduct inspection activities. And sa department, yan po ang ating mga labor inspectors, assistant labor inspectors, or in some cases, yung ating special inspection team. So halimbawa, may taong pumunta sa establishment nyo and nagpakilala na from Dole sila. And sabi nila, mag-i-inspect. So, anong dapat gawin niyo? So, the first thing that you can do is to politely ask for their authority to inspect. Bit-bit naman po yan ng ating mga inspectors. Or you may also call our regional offices to verify if that person is really granted the authority to conduct inspection. Or pwede rin naman natin i-verify through the website of DOLE na kapost naman po doon kung sino yung mga inspectors na authorized to conduct labor inspection. So this slide presents yung comparison when it comes to authorities, checklists, and notices across doon sa ating different approaches. So for the labor inspection, sa authorities, tinatawag natin yung authority to inspect. Sa OSH investigation, authority to investigate. Sa ating tab, authority to visit. Now for the checklist naman, ang tawag sa labor inspection ay inspection checklist. Sa OSH investigation checklist. And for the tab, tinatawag natin yung visit checklist. And for the notices naman, sa inspection, notice of inspection results. Sa OSH investigation, notice of investigation results. And for the tab, notice of visits results. Now, for the authorized representatives, in an inspection, visit, or investigation, part of the process is kailangan merong presence ng representatives from the workers and employers. So Section 3 of the rules enumerated who are the authorized representatives of the employer and who are also the authorized representatives for the employee. So for the employer, maaaring ito yung owner, president, vice president, manager, or any supervisor. And yung presence naman nila during the inspection, visit, or investigation, yung presence lang ng isa sa kanila would already suffice the requirement. So hindi kailangan na lahat sila ay present. Now, for the employees naman, it depends, kung organized establishment ka or unorganized establishment. So, yung organized establishment, ito yung mga establishments na may certified sole and exclusive bargaining agent. So, in their case, ang authorized representatives nila ay the one designated by the SEBA or yung sole and exclusive bargaining agent or the agent designated dun sa kanilang collective bargaining agreement. On the other hand, since on the other hand, sa unorganized establishments naman, ito ay maaaring manggaling sa rank and file employees from the Labor Management Committee, OSH Committee, Family Welfare Committee. But kindly take note na ang nakalagay sa rules natin is kailangan siya in successive order. So it means na ang una mong kailangan hanapan is yung Labor Management Committee. Kapag wala lang representative from the Labor Management Committee, saka ka lang pwedeng mag-proceed kay OSH Committee. And kapag wala naman kay OSH Committee, saka ka lang pwedeng mag-proceed sa Family Welfare Committee. Now, for the employment records, ito yung mga employment records. But again, this is not an exclusive list of the employment records. So these are just some examples. Employment contracts, daily time records, payroll, proof of payment, yung 13th month pay, service incentive leaves, social legislations or yung mga payment ng SSS benefits, pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and the programs and policies. Next, yung tinatawag nating social partners. So yung mga social partners ay ito yung mga qualified representatives of legitimate labor organization, legitimate workers associations, chartered locals, national unions or federations, accredited integrated professional organizations, non-government organizations, and employer organizations. So ang sinasabi lang dito sa rule na to, they may be authorized to participate in the conduct of inspection of establishments. Again, may be authorized. So it doesn't, it means na hindi mandatory yung presence nila when the DOLE conducts inspection, investigation, or visit. So let's proceed na doon sa ating approaches. So let's discuss in detail kung ano nga ba yung mga nilalaman or ano yung mga activities involved doon sa ating 3 administration and enforcement approaches. So unahin na natin yung technical and advisory visit. So basically, yung ating technical and advisory visit is for the micro establishments. So yung micro establishments as defined are those employing 1 to 9 workers. And for this purpose, mas nagpo-focus din po ang department sa ating mga community-based micro establishments. So mga halimbawa niyan ay yung mga sari-sari stores, maliliit na groceries, bakeries, mga maliliit na restaurants, mga karinderya, and so on and so forth. So what happens in technical advisory visit is that the department would send an invitation to you to participate in the TAV program, or pwede rin naman na kayo mismo yung lalapit sa department to manifest your intention to undergo that TAV program. And you may and then you may avail it in either of the following modalities. So the first modality is yung online, second yung on-site, and third yung hybrid natin. So for the online session, ang mangyayari is meron kayong mga papanooring video lectures that were prepared by the Bureau of Working Conditions. And ang kailangan nyo i-access ay itong learning management system ng department. So ito yung https://tab.dole.gov.ph. And then itong modules dito ay self-paced. So meaning, pwede nyo siyang ma-access any time of the day. So pwede nyo siyang, pwede kayo mag-aral or panoorin yung video lecture bago kayo matulog, during your lunch break, or during your during the morning habang nagbe-breakfast kayo. And ang only condition dyan is that you have to finish or to complete the modules within 1 month from registration, which is actually very feasible kasi yung mga video lectures naman, it's either short lectures na nag-run lang for 3 to 5 minutes, and meron ding mga long lectures that could go an hour, yun na yung max. So ito po yung example screenshot ng ating learning management system. Now, for the on-site naman, what will happen in the on-site is that yung DOLE will schedule the conduct of the TAV, and then merong several micro-establishments who will participate all together doon sa scheduled session na yun. And then, it may run half day or whole day, depende kung gaano kabilis yung pacing ng ating mga facilitators from the regional offices ng DOLE. And now, for the last modality, for the hybrid, the micro establishments enroll in the on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings and webinars through various online collaboration platforms. Pwedeng Messenger, MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, and Google Meet. So, it's actually a combination of an on-site and an online session. Kasi sa hybrid, the DOLE will conduct an on-site session. Now, kung hindi ka available sa on-site session na yon, pwedeng mag-set up naman yung DOLE ng isang hybrid session. So basically, papanoorin mo yung lecture ng papanoorin mo yung on-site lecture while nasa online platform ka, like Zoom, for example. So, ano yung mga nilalaman na training modules sa ating TAV? So, first, yung general labor standards. It includes yung number of working hours, meal and rest periods, wage, and then yung premium pay, holiday pay, social benefits, and then yung occupational safety and health standards naman, yung provision of personal protective equipment, safety officer, first aiders, and so on and so forth. And third, yung child and family welfare. Next is yung productivity toolbox. This is courtesy of the National Wage and Productivity Board. And lastly, yung visit checklist and action plan. So to summarize lang, no, ano yung proseso sa TAV natin. So una is magkakaroon ng invitation, and then second, a-attend kayo ng lecture, either any of the modality na na-mention or discuss ko kanina. And then third, magkakaroon kayo ng assessment. Yung facilitators natin from the DOLE will help you assess kung meron ba kayong compliance gaps. And kapag may compliance gaps kayo, you will also be helped to craft your action plans. So paano nyo i-resolve yung mga compliance gaps na yon or yung mga violations, and ano yung mga kailangan ninyong tulong. Kasi part of the TAV process din kasi is yung referral system natin. So basically, kapag pwede kayong i-refer ng department to the other government agencies na nagpo-provide ng services na maaaring makatulong para ma-address ninyo yung compliance gaps or yung violations. So next, yung labor inspection naman natin. This is so for the labor inspection, ito yung mga salient provisions na in-incorporate natin sa ating rules. So first, merge routine and complaint inspection. So wala na pong tinatawag na routine and complaint inspection. Ngayon, tinatawag na lang natin siya inspection. Second, the number of days to correct violation is 20 days from receipt of the notice of inspection results. Previously po kasi, yung number of days to correct violation depends kung ano yung depends on the nature of the violation or the compliance gaps. But now, ginawa na po nating uniform na 20 days ito. But ang exception lang dyan, if there is yung violation mo may actually result to an imminent danger or dangerous occurrence. And in that case, the employer will be directed to implement corrective actions immediately to abate the imminent danger or to provide temporary measures to prevent further dangerous occurrences. Third is the endorsement of findings on violations of mandatory social benefits. So nakita rin po kasi natin na one of the common violations in the past 5 years ay yung ating non-coverage or non-remittance ng mga social benefits like PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and SSS. So ngayon, part of the process is yung DOLE will send a list of the establishments to the appropriate agency kung sino yung may mga violations for their appropriate action. Fourth, as provided by Rule 5 of the inspection din, nagkaroon na rin ng express provision for an initial factual determination of jurisdictional requirement. So itong jurisdictional requirement na to, it refers to the existence ng employee-employer relationship, either using the fourfold test or the economic dependence test. Kasi ito yung mga usual din na ginagamit previously ng mga employers as a shield, no? So sinasabi nila na hindi nila empleyado itong taong ito. So here sa inspection natin, binigyan na natin yung power or the authority yung ating mga inspector to initially determine yung jurisdictional requirement ng employer-employee relationship, yung existence nun. So for the process, tulad na nabanggit ko or na-discuss kanina, the labor inspector will present to you yung kanilang authority to inspect. And once na in-entertain na sila, pinapasok nila sa establishment, magkakaroon ng opening conference. Sa opening conference, i-discuss ni inspector what will be the scope of the inspection. And then dito rin, ito na yung official start, no, or commencement ng conduct of inspection proper. So i-examine na rin nila yung employment records, and they may interview employees and inspect premises. So after the conduct ng inspection, they will issue a notice of inspection results. So dito na yan mangyayari sa closing conference. Ang nilalaman ng inspection results are generally kung ano yung naging findings ng ating inspectors, and your representatives or the representatives from the workers and the employees group will be required to affix their signatures. Now, if merong objections on either of the party, they have to manifest that objection, and kailangan nilang specify bakit sila nag-o-object dun sa findings ng ating inspector. And what will the inspector do is to prepare a report na isasubmit niya sa regional director. Now, kapag nagkaroon ng compliance gaps, bibigyan ang isang establishment ng 20 days to correct or to do yung kanilang corrective action dun sa non-compliance nila. So ito yung tinatawag natin na correction period. Okay. Next is yung willful violation. So actually, this is I would like to emphasize this important point regarding willful violation. So as defined, willful violation is the unjustifiable or unreasonable failure to correct the noted violations despite the following. So nag-participate ka sa visit, inspection, investigation, you receive the notice of visit, inspection, investigation results, na-receive mo rin yung notice of mandatory conference, umattend ka na mandatory conference, but despite that, you still continue to, there's still failure to submit the compliance documents within 10 days after the submission of the case for the decision of the RD. So, itong willful violation na to, this is very important because it raises a presumption. No? Kapag you are presumed to to have willfully violated, the burden is on you to prove na hindi that you did not, you were the burden of proof the burden of proof is on your shoulders to prove or to dispute na hindi nyo kinomit yung willful violation. And this is very important when it comes to non-compliances with OSH, no? Sa OSH standards. Kasi sa OSH, malaki yung penalty kapag finding sa'yo is you willfully violated the provisions of the OSH law. Next is for the contracting and subcontracting arrangement. The revised rules also made it clear that labor inspectors can interview deployed workers of a contractor. So let us say Company A, which is located in Quezon City, dineploy niya si worker X to Company B in Rizal. So si X, pwede siyang ma-interview during the inspection conducted in Company B. Kahit technically ang employer talaga ni X is si Company A. So what will happen lang is that the labor inspector or the regional offices or the regional office na will issue an affidavit and notice of inspection results if furnish niya yung regional office that have jurisdiction over the contractor or subcontractor. And in the above, in the case that I mentioned earlier, so si regional office 4A, i-furnish niya ng report kay DOLE NCR kung saan located si Company A or yung contractor. Now, for the third approach, ito yung OSHI or Occupational Safety and Health Investigation. So, ano nga ba yung mga triggers or paano nagko-commence ang isang OSH investigation? So, the first instance is that observes OSH violation in plain view. So, for example, naglalakad lang si inspector dyan, and then nakita niya yung mga construction workers ng isang high-rise building ay walang PP. So, that in itself, plain view, nakita ni inspector na merong violation that is being committed. So, yun yung plain view. Second is receives information on imminent danger or dangerous occurrence. So, this is actually two parts. So, hatiin natin. The first one is receives information on imminent danger. So, define din ang imminent danger sa inspection rules natin as a situation caused by a condition or practice in any place of employment that could reasonably expect to lead to death or serious physical harm. So, sa imminent danger, hindi pa nangyayari yung isang aksidente, but logic would dictate na maaari siyang mangyari. So, for example, may nakitang si A, naglalakad lang siya, tapos nakita niya sa high-rise building, parang may malalaglag na bakal. Tapos hindi siya, and then malakas yung hangin, for example. Katulad ngayon, malakas yung bagyo, di ba? Although wala pang accident na nangyari, but we can reasonably predict na kapag hinangin yung bakal na yan, maaaring mahulog yan at may malaglagang tao. So that's what is imminent danger is. Next, yung dangerous occurrence naman, dinefine din siya by way of enumeration sa ating TO. So one of the examples is the explosion or fire causing damage to the structure. Sa dangerous occurrence naman is nangyari na. So, tapos na. Sumabog na yung LPG sa restaurant, nasunog na yung kitchen. So, that in itself, yun na yung nagko-constitute ng ating tinatawag na dangerous occurrence. Now, for the third instance, receive information on disabled engine. So, dito naman, nangyari na rin yung aksidente, and what happened is that it resulted to a disabling injury. So either it resulted to a total, partial, permanent, or temporary disability of a worker. Now, for the process flow, first, magsisimula ulit yan sa authority to investigate. Si labor inspector, magpe-present siya ng authority to investigate dun sa representatives of the employer and employees. But itong authority to investigate will not apply doon sa ating first instance, dun sa plain view. Kasi sa plain view, nakita nangyayari na siya. So hindi naman na kailangan pumunta pa ni inspector ng regional office to secure the authority to investigate. Kasi in that situation itself, pwede nang mag-act si inspector. The second part is the conduct of investigation. So the labor inspector will coordinate with the safety officer of the employer, and then he will help craft yung corrective actions and paano yung magiging implementation, and paano rin i-correct yung compliance with OSH standards. And then notice of investigation results, tulad nung notice of inspection results, kailangan i-discuss yan ni labor inspector with the representatives of the employer and the employees. Now, kapag there is failure to abate an imminent danger or dangerous occurrence, the department may issue a work stoppage order. So ito yung mga grounds for the issuance of the work stoppage order. First, imminent danger cannot be abated during the investigation. Second, non-compliance with OSH poses a grave and imminent danger to the health and safety of workers. And third, it resulted in a dangerous occurrence. Now, what is the available remedy naman for the establishment? No, after the issuance of the work stoppage order, magkakaroon ng hearing. And kapag during that period, the establishment was able to abate yung ating mga grounds kanina na mention, the regional office will now issue the order lifting the work stoppage order within 24 hours. And then we will magpo-proceed na yan sa preparation of action plan and submission of proof of compliance establishment doon sa action plan naman na yun within 20 days. Now, for refusal of access, ito naman, refusal of access happens when there is a justified denial by the employer, directly or indirectly, to first, provide employment records for examination, second, provide access to work premises, or third, interview employees. After having been served with a copy of the labor inspector's authority to conduct a visit, inspection, or investigation. So, ang importante dito is that yung refusal of access is an unlawful act under the labor code. So, kapag there is a refusal of access, ang maaaring gawin ni DOLE is to file a criminal action against doon sa establishment or sa employer. Now, for the procedure naman, what will happen is that the labor inspector will issue a notice of inspection or investigation results. and ipapatawag si employer para to conduct a conference, and the employer will be asked to explain bakit nagkaroon ng refusal of access to entry, or refusal of access to employment records, and etc. And if there is still continuing refusal after the conduct of conference, the regional director will endorse a complaint to the legal service of the department within 10 days. And the legal service will help the regional director to file the criminal action. Next is for the disposition of cases. So from inspection, investigation, visit, kapag there is still non-compliance, hindi pa rin nako-correct yung mga compliance gaps, meron pa rin violations of general labor standards or occupational safety and health standards, magpo-proceed tayo sa rules on the disposition of cases. So first, magkakaroon ng notice of mandatory conference. Ibibigay yan sa establishment within 5 days from the notice of visit results, inspection results, or investigation results, or lapse of correction period. And within, after that, magkakaroon ng 40 days. Itong sa 40 days na to, magkakaroon ng dalawang mandatory conference. And after the mandatory conference, if still sa mandatory conference, kapag hindi nag-appear or nag-refuse makipag-cooperate si establishment, that will be a waiver of the right to dispute whatever the findings of the regions. And after the mandatory conference, with 30 days after nung end ng mandatory conference, mag-i-issue na si region ng compliance order. Now, what will be the proper remedy kapag you do not agree with the compliance order of the issued by the regional director or the regional office? So the proper remedy is to file for a motion for reconsideration. And then the regional director will issue a resolution on the motion for reconsideration within 10 days from the receipt of the reply. So yung 20 days na yan, 20 days for the aggrieved party to file a motion for reconsideration, and another 10 days naman for the other party to provide the reply. Now, for the service of notice, kanino yan sinaserve? It may be served sa principal place of business or main office. It may also be through personal service or registered mail, or kapag isang party is represented by a counsel, yung service of notice shall be made to the counsel. So if the regional director receives no motion for reconsideration or walang appeal na na-perfect, mag-i-issue na si regional director ng notice of finality. Now, for the appeal procedure, so for the appeal, an aggrieved party may assail the compliance order or resolution by filing an appeal. It shall be filed with the Dole Regional Office that issued the compliance order or the resolution of MR, and it shall be decided by the Secretary of Labor within 30 days from the receipt of the entire records. So ano nga ba yung mga grounds para for your appeal to prosper? So first ground, there is a prima facie evidence of grave abuse of discretion. Second, there are pure questions of law. And third, serious errors of facts. So if yung ground mo is wala sa tatlong ito, your appeal may be properly denied. So lastly, compromise agreement. So it is one of the policies of the department is to promote speedy, efficient resolution of cases, and it includes the exhaustion of other alternative modes of resolution. And one of those recognized by the department, which we actually encourage, is to enter into compromise agreements. But kindly take note na yung um, compromise agreement must conform with the following requisites. It must be a written document. It must be signed by the parties, meaning the employer and the employee. It must also be executed in the presence of the regional director or his or her duly authorized representative. It must be voluntarily and knowingly entered into by the parties. And consideration is adequate and reasonable. And by adequate and reasonable, ang ibig sabihin yan, it must be the one that is awarded to the employee. So sa madaling salita, hindi maaaring maging subject ng compromise agreement yung amount na ibibigay ni employer kay employee. So whatever yung findings ni DOLE as to the amount of the award, yun lang yung dapat maibigay sa compromise agreement. And ang maaari lang na compromise is the mode of payment. So that ends my presentation on the rules on inspection. So thank you very much for your indulgence, and back to you, Sir Mark.
Yun. So that was Department Order number 238 and called Rules on Administration and Enforcement of Labor Standards. So maraming salamat po, Sir Red, for that very informative and meaningful discussions on DO 238. So I hope yung mga participants po natin, I think around 400 people tayo kanina on the live. I hope na naka-pick up kayo ng maraming knowledge about our Department Order number 238. So as mentioned before, we will try to accommodate your questions. Nakita po namin yung mga questions nyo on the comment sections. And as a reminder po, you can still submit your questions through the comment sections. Pero today, let's answer some questions. May mga katanungan tayo for Sir Red. So Sir Red, for the first question natin ay, meron po bang specific date kung kailan mag-i-inspect ang isang establishment?
To answer the question, so the date of inspection will be the date or within the validity of authority. So sa authority to inspect, may naka-indicate doon na period kung kailan kailangan i-conduct yung inspection.
But for specific establishments, wala naka-indicate na date of inspection.
Okay. So ang second question natin dito ay makakatanggap po ba ng notice bago mag-inspection?
No. Dito sa ating new inspection system, wala na pong notice na ibibigay for the conduct of inspection. Kakatok na lang po yung inspector natin sa establishment ninyo and i-represent po nila yung authority to inspect.
Okay. So ang third question po natin dito ay, ano-ano yung mga dokumento na dapat i-ready in case na may inspection?
Ayan. Tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, the management must be prepared to present yung ating mga employment records such as but not limited to employment contracts, daily time records, payroll, proof of payment, copies of the policies and programs. But basically, any proof that will support your compliance with the relevant general labor standards or occupational safety and health standards.
Oh, okay. So next question tayo, Sir Red. Lahat po ba ng company, regardless sa nature of business, ay required to register sa DOLE and need ng OSH compliance?
And ang mahiwagang sagot dyan is yes. No?
Yes.
Under Rule 1021 of the OSH, every employer shall register his business with the Regional Labor Office or the authorized representative having jurisdiction thereof.
Okay. So meron pa po tayong couple of questions. Number 5 ay the most common complaint of workers is that companies pre-select the workers to be interviewed by inspectors, thus leading to doubt on the credibility of inspection results. So Rule 3, Section 6 provides for participation of labor organizations during inspection. Shouldn't the presence of representatives or a representative of labor organization be mandatory during inspections?
Yan, medyo mahaba yung tanong, no? So, mahaba din yung sagot ko.
So,
The answer is no. The presence of representatives of the labor organization is not mandatory in the conduct of inspection. Kindly take note that the rule only requires the presence of authorized representatives from the employers and workers during the conduct of inspection. Now, yung sinasabi niyang Rule 3, Section 6, regarding the participation of labor organization during inspection, as I've mentioned earlier, this is not mandatory. So it only provides that they may be authorized to participate in the inspection, but this is subject to the guidelines issued by the Secretary of Labor and Employment.
Oh, okay. So another question is, what if wala pong manager or any corporate representative during the inspection? Can we ask for a reschedule ng labor inspection?
The labor inspection cannot be rescheduled, and the proper course of action for the management is to designate and provide an employee's representative. Kasi tulad nga ng na-discuss natin kanina, the list is actually long. No? Maraming pwedeng maging employers, representatives, including yung mga supervisors natin.
Okay. What if naka-indicate sa inspection letter ang timeline? Does it mean na hindi mangyayari ang inspection sa araw ng pag-present ng letter?
Yung tulad na na-discuss ko kanina, yung timeline indicates the validity of the authority to inspect. And kapag kinonduct yung isang inspection beyond those inclusive dates, basically yung authority na yun is no longer valid.
Mm-hmm. So what is the difference of inspection and TAV?
Actually medyo this is very broad question. Labor inspection and technical advisory visits are two very different approaches. But one of the primary differences talaga is yung coverage. The TAV program is a technical assistance program intended exclusively for micro-establishment. Now, yung inspection naman, it covers basically all establishments, including micro, subject to the circumstances na naka-enumerate sa ating rules. So, for example, nagkaroon ng complaint sa isang micro-establishment, inspection may still be conducted doon sa establishment na may complaint.
Yan, so okay. Ito yung next question natin. Actually, gusto ko itong tanong na to. I'm sure marami rin sa mga viewers natin ang curious about this one. pwede po ba mag-report sa DOLE na naka-anonymous?
Yes, no. Pwede po kayong mag-report sa DOLE anonymously, no. Pwede kayong gumamit ng code or any name you want. But ang mahalaga lang is to indicate the name of the establishment, including their address, para alam ng inspector natin kung saan ito pupuntahan.
So ayun. So pwede mag-anonymous report. Okay. So next question is, sa labor inspection po ba sa examine records, limited lang po ba sa examination or pwede po ba humingi ng records si inspector at ilabas niya sa premises ang kopya or records?
So under the labor code, ang sinasabi doon is the Secretary of Labor and Employment or his duly authorized representatives shall have access to employers' records and premises at any time of the day or night whenever whenever work is being undertaken, and the right to copy therefrom. So to answer your question, pwede.
Okay, so pwede. Ilang employee ang required to represent the employee sector?
At a minimum, one representative from the worker or the employee sector is already sufficient doon sa ating requirement.
Okay. As per DOLE 198-18 Section 14, safety officers' responsibility is to assist government inspectors. Please, can you confirm this, Sir Red?
Yes, the answer is in the affirmative. No? So it is one of their many functions. Yung ating mga safety officers talaga na ng establishments yung kaagapay ni DOLE when it comes to implementation of POSH in the establishment.
Okay, for our next question, kapag ang company ay nagsera, may makukuha po ba sila? Like January 2023, humina kasi yung company, tinanggal lahat ng empleyado. So may makukuha pa ba sila?
As a general rule, someone that is legally terminated is entitled to separation and back pay. And ang maaaring recourse na ating nagsabit ng question is to coordinate with the DOLE Regional Office having jurisdiction doon sa pinagtatrabahuhan niya before.
Okay. So next question po ulit ay, yung mga holiday po ba pwedeng i-swap sa December?
Subject to conditions stipulated on DOLE Department Advisory number 2 series of 2009, there is no diminution of benefits in such arrangement.
Okay. Question number 15 natin ay, kapag po ba ang employee or ang employee number ay umabot ng 166, automatic na po ba na need ng safety officer 3?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. So that's all the time we have for now for our questions. So sa mga hindi po naka-join sa atin, sa mga kung may gusto kayong mga friends or family nyo na makakita ng discussion natin na to, pero hindi sila naka-join sa atin ngayon, pwede po natin panoorin ulit ang live na to, na itong webinar na to, or our other previous webinars sa ating BWC Facebook page. So again, maraming salamat po sa lahat na nag-attend at nag-participate sa ating webinar. And if you have any other questions or inquiries, you may send us an email on askbwc@gmail.com. Again, askbwc@gmail.com, or you may call the DOLE hotline, which is 1349. Again, 1349. So, on behalf of DOLE BWC and our presenter, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Para sa mga katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa DOLE Hotline 1349 o sumangguni sa mga DOLE Regional o Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.